Postmen, couriers or Reddit. What's the weirdest state someone's been in while answering the door? Story 1. I once delivered pizza to a rager. Not a stack of pizzas to a normal party, a single pizza to a huge riot of a party. Like, cars parked on the lawn, guys throwing up off the balcony, people fighting in the living room, hundreds of beer cans all over the places, all of it. I go in and ask for Amy, the person who ordered it, and everyone is pointing me to different directions. Eventually I find this girl doing 3 feet bong rips on the back porch. She looks at me and says, "Oh shit, my pizza." Then hands me a crumpled up $100 bill and tells me to keep the change. As I'm getting in my car, a guy runs up, asks me to do a beer run. I say I have to get back, and he says, "Okay, what if I pay you?" Then he gives me like $20 for running him down the street to the gas station. Reply: well, at least he didn't drive. Reply 2. Occasionally, if the pizza place in town was quiet, we would go there after being on the lash and get a pizza delivered to our house. Then we would get a ride with the pizza driver home. Cheaper than a taxi, and you get a pizza at the end. Reply 3. Somewhat similar, delivered to a house party, and like 6 guys all came to the door to put cash together. Gave me $160 for 2 pizzas, called me the queen of pizza, and gave me a group hug. One of my favorite deliveries. Story 2. Naked dude soaking wet wearing nothing but a Cracker Barrel apron. First time okay, second time something is going on here. Story 3. I am not a postal worker, but I did used to be a public defender. I once had a client who got into the habit of always greeting his postal worker and the UPS and FedEx delivery drivers, completely naked and with a fully erect penis. That is also why he was my client. I had him plea out. Reply: you've got mail. Reply 2. The annoying little pop-up. Story 4. Fucking hell, I'm probably too late for this, but let me tell you an insane story. I moved into a shared house with 2 other people when I was 21. Living the dream, lots of parties, and pretty soon after moving in I became fuck buddies with one housemate. Very laid back and a little weird, she literally used to tell me how her Tinder dates had gone whilst cleaning my jizz off her face. I promise this isn't some horny story though. It's just an important bit of context. One day I'd made some cash doing a gig, close up magic, and called her up asking if she fancied a few celebratory drinks and a movie evening. It was pretty early cuz it was a lunchtime gig for the Jubilee in England. She was all for it, so that's what we did. Of course we didn't get fully dressed afterwards, so I'm naked and she's put on a t-shirt and pair of my boxers, and we are an hour into Memento, and 20 minutes post shag when the door goes. Fucking policeman there when she answered the door. Is Steve in, other housemate? They asked. No, she says. Steve was out a couple days, hence me being naked on a sofa. I start looking for clothes, but there are none in the lounge and I'd have to walk past the front door to get to bedroom. Police hear me rustling, assume I'm Steve, and bust into the flat. I get arrested on the spot and handcuffed naked. Housemate gets my license to prove it's not me and I'm let go. So they leave and it was so surreal we both just start laughing. The police were so embarrassed by the end of it, we were all kinda laughing together after all the apologies. We all saw the ludicrousness of the situation. So of course when the door knocked again a few minutes later, I assumed it was the police again, and they'd forgotten something. So I answered bollock naked as the day I was born and said, "Are you here, pin me down again?" to the Amazon delivery guy. P.S. Turns out Steve was trying to meet up with underage girls, hence the search warrant. Reply: BTW, Steve was a pedo K-bi. Story 5. Did door-to-door sales for about a week when I was young and broke. Had an attractive woman answer the door wearing nothing but a very tiny bikini bottom. I thought I was about to get lucky, but it turned out her husband dared her to do it. They thought I was selling Jesus and wanted to fuck with me. Still, I got an eye full of the nicest tits I'd seen to that point in my life. Reply: I saw a video from someone I used to follow on of where her topless friend answers the door from a pizza delivery man. She pizza and the guy compliments her on her tits and she says, "Do you want to touch one?" And the guy touches it with his finger lol. Story 6. I was raised Mormon and did the mission thing. One time, a lady answered the door in a tank top that had been stretched out and stained. That was the first IRL nudity I'd seen. To this day, it's by far the worst. Mormonism, 0 out of 10. That particular experience, 2 out of 10, 1 star per boob. Reply. I saw some young Mormons doing their thing the other day, and a thought struck me. Does literally anyone let them in and have their faith changed? Or do the higher UPS just make you do it so it seems everyone outside the faith is mean and hateful and whatnot? I do deliveries so I don't fuck with them. Knocking on doors can suck and the knocker rarely wants to be there either. I just tell him to move on. Story 7. When I was 13, I was sent to the neighbors to get my brother and tell him come home. The guy opened the door, naked, glitter coming out of his pubes. He had a towel covering his goods. I asked him if my brother was there and thankfully, he said no. Reply. But did you check your brother for glitter when he got home? Story 8. I was breastfeeding my baby, heard a knock at the door. Put my boobs away. Answered the door. Afterwards I looked down, realize one boob is still out. Have to hand it to the guy, he didn't look down once. Reply. They say, to this day the delivery boy is still standing on that porch, looking straight through the doorway. Reply 2. I did this when my eldest son was a newborn. Postmen didn't bat an eye but I was mortified when I realized. At least I was carrying my son when I answered the door, so it was hopefully obvious I wasn't just a perv. A few days later, I got another package that required signing for. Postie put it through the door with a note that said, I signed for it for you so I didn't disturb you with new baby. Hope that's okay. I can do that for any package that will fit through letterbox. Tommy. He delivered our mail for years and still always says hi if we see him in the supermarket, bless him. Story 9. Used to be a paper boy and this one meth-addicted woman answered the door in a bathrobe and her right boob came out to say hi. Reply. Meredith, your boob is out. Hey. Subscribe. You're awesome.